Okay, welcome to the Aramir Roundtable. Today's the 19th of January, 2023. Welcome, everyone. We have a special guest, Himanshu. I've known Himanshu for, geez, I don't know how many years, Himanshu, 15 years. And yeah, it's been a long time. And Himanshu runs Trading Group 7 and on Tuesdays. And he's also, I think, a CMT, right? You're a chartered market technician.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing with technical analysis, and he's going to talk to us about that today. So before we get too far into it, just a normal disclosure: Aram is not a broker-dealer or investment advisor. It's for educational purposes only. Options, futures, bonds, and currencies and crypto all involve risks. They're not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. If you want to read the whole thing, pause the recording and go to the bottom of any of our web pages. And as far as attribution goes, I have a slide for that too. You may see screenshots or live views of OptionNet, OptionView, Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers, or any other tools that we use a lot in our community, but big shout out to them and all they do to help us do what we do better. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Himanshu, you can share yours.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I see Thinkorswim.
You do? Okay. Excellent. So let me start with a question. How many of you actually know what the hell I'm going to talk about today?
Well, I know big picture what you're talking about, but details maybe not.
Well, we are going to talk about technical analysis today, among other things. Ultimately, I always end up with calendars, but everything for me begins with technical analysis. And there you go. Ruchit says technical analysis. Jay says hi. Hi, back to you, Jay. So now we were taught a long time ago that all these trades that we do, they should be delta neutral. How many of you remember that? Lindsay saying red bar high. But red bar high comes later. When we started trading delta neutral style trades, we were trading, let's say, if we go 20 years out and look at a weekly chart here, this is Apple. You can see that in the year 2005, Apple literally moved, like hardly moved at all, right? If you look at SPX, in the year 2004, the high was 1174 and the low was 1067. 100-point move up and down over an entire 1 year. Today, if it moves by only 10 points in 1 day, we are like, something is wrong, right? At least I usually am. Like, what the hell is going on? Why the hell this thing moved only by 10 points today? So obviously, the personality of the market has changed. It appears to be a little bit more drunk than it was before. It goes up a bit too much, and when it goes down, it really goes down the mountain real fast. So we need to change our techniques. If we try to do delta neutral trades, then we are literally adjusting our trades every other day, sometimes even twice a day, like on days like this, right? So that was the reason that I decided to change my technique from being delta neutral, no matter what I do, whether it's calendars or diagonals or butterflies or iron condors, to being more directional. And it has certainly helped me significantly. And some of you here who are part of Trading Group 7 have seen how well we have done, even though I look at that particular account only 1 day a week. So one of the things that Tom and I were talking about was actually doing something with calendars. And I suggested to him that maybe we should talk a little bit about technical analysis as well. It's very possible that some of you may actually be interested in learning a little bit more about technical analysis and putting on directional trades, no matter what they are, whether they are calendars, diagonals, half-assed iron condors, or bearish butterflies, bullish butterflies, whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit about technical analysis and why it has taken my options trading beyond the stratosphere, to put it mildly. Remember, there was a time when we used to do delta neutral trades, as we talked about earlier. If you placed a delta neutral trade on this day, you probably were adjusting it 2 days later, the day after that again, and then again, and again, and again. So if we do decide to trade in a directional way, we end up adjusting a whole lot less, which results in significantly less commissions, number one. And number two, if things are not working out the way we thought they would, it gives us a great opportunity to get the hell out of the trade with as little loss as possible. Everybody with me so far? Some of you must have a question by now. There it is, a question. Oh, Richard says yes. So that means everything is okay. All right. So hence, since 2006, I have essentially dedicated my own trading to be completely and totally directional, no matter what I do. Now, mostly I do calendars, but even if I'm doing butterflies or diagonals, they are always directional. In other words, my overall delta for my positions is never zero, ever. Because, you are either to the left or the right. If you are in the middle, you get killed by both parties. So I prefer to be either on one side or the other. Okay, Dennis is saying he's with you and he's finding this very interesting. That's good. So now, one of the things I think Tom, we talked about, one of the things was we may be offering a course, a rudimentary course in technical analysis, as well as in calendars down the line. But again, well, we'll get to that later. So, oh, somebody has another question? No? Okay. SV is saying, how is your directional position hedged against being wrong in directional forecast? Because it is directional, it is not hedged at all. If I find out that I was wrong, I just get the hell out. Right? It's like driving. If I'm driving from New York to San Francisco and suddenly I hit, say, Kansas, and then I'm not paying attention and suddenly suddenly find myself going east, what do? Right? I will literally make a U-turn and start going west again. In other words, if I'm wrong, if I place a bullish trade and I find out that I'm wrong, I just get out and place a bearish trade. Did that make sense? Okay. Tom says an order form. Oh, okay. That's for the rest of you guys.
I just sent that to you. I don't know when you want to talk about that, probably at the end.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So step number one, I am always directional. And ever since I decided to be directional, my trading has my profits have gone through the roof. The other thing also, as I mentioned, is that if I'm directional and if the market changes direction, I do tend to get out as quickly as possible with minimal loss. Obviously, there will always be losses. I have not yet reached a stage where I am 100% right in picking direction of the market or any underlying stock or futures. So that is, part of growing up as a trader. How well you take losses and how well you run with your wins is what you will learn as you go through this whole thing with me. Oh, excuse me. COVID has finally come home to roost for me, by the way, for those of you, as Tom and I were talking earlier. So if I cough a little bit, forgive me, excuse me. So step number one, I am always directional, one way or the other. And that has changed my trading significantly. Number two, as markets move up or down, the VIX will change. When the markets move down big time, the VIX goes up big time. And when the market goes up big time, the VIX goes down big time. So when we are being directional, we can also choose our strategy. In other words, when the market is moving up, I would prefer that my deltas be positive, but my vegas be negative, right? Because if my vega is positive and the market goes up, then my vega is hurting me. Though in the long run, I have found out that if you're doing out of the money call calendars or diagonals, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt you that much. But still, those of you who are, what shall I say, purists, might be concerned that, hey, why should my vega be positive while the market is moving up in whatever trades that I'm putting? So in essence, I look at the VIX. Based on the VIX, I will decide what kind of strategy that I wish to put on. I'm looking at technical analysis to figure out whether I should be bullish or bearish, which also relates back to the VIX. And now, if I am bullish or bearish, no matter what my personal judgment of what the market is about to do, based on that, I will place a trade. Now, usually I will place a calendar, but I have been known to place butterflies and diagonals and double calendars and triple calendars as well. The one thing that I found out when I started doing things this way is that when I was wrong, I knew I was wrong and could get out very quickly, thereby not losing too much. So not only is technical analysis useful for me in being positioned properly in the direction of the underlying instrument, but when it starts going against me, or if I'm wrong about my analysis, I lose very, very, very little. Now, remember, a long time ago, most of us learned about delta neutral trading, but I was also doing my triple calendars in those days. So even when my deltas were more or less neutral or close to neutral, my vega was helping me a lot in case the market tanked. But obviously, if the market decided to go up, I was getting hurt a lot. And here's another question. So Jay is asking, what type of trade would you initiate today? Today, I would probably, well, if I'm looking at SPX, I would probably be doing a directional calendar, a bearish calendar in SPX. But if I was looking at, say, Meta, I might go at the money or slightly bullish calendar in Meta. Again, based purely on technical analysis. Antonis is asking, is your trading only in options? No. I trade stocks, I trade futures, I trade Forex, which is another good thing about learning technical analysis. You can use the same strategy of technical analysis, whatever the strategy may be, to trade whatever you want. In fact, the majority of my students from UK and Switzerland and India are Forex traders because, there are no options for them to trade. And I just recently found out that now TOS allows you, even international people, to have accounts. Strange, but true. So a lot of those guys are now clamoring to learn about options from me. But the time difference is killing me. But that's a different ballgame altogether. But yeah, so here, instead of, say, the stock, let's say you want to trade the E-mini S&P, and you want to trade it on a 5-minute chart. See, you can literally see the bloody thing is going down, right? But with the technical analysis strategies that I teach, you would know exactly where to enter or go short, where to get out, where to enter again, where to get out again, and keep on doing that throughout the day. And I believe a couple of times I've done that too, if I'm not mistaken, in Trading Group 7. Somebody remind me, have I? Or was it in some other group? So is everybody with me so far? So technical analysis tells me when to buy or sell, no matter what it is that you are buying or selling. I have no clue about fundamental analysis at all. I have no idea if you talk about PE ratio or any of those other fundamentals, you will just get a blank stare from me. Because I really don't care whether the fundamentals of a stock are good or not. Even if the fundamentals are extremely bad, based purely on technical analysis, I can still make money off that particular stock. And I'm never going to hold the stock for, or anything for that matter, for more than a week or 2 or 3 at the most. Every now and then, I may actually look at, let's say if I'm looking at something like Costco, I may look at a weekly chart and say, okay, now see, for example, by the end of this week, I will buy puts in Costco. I'm telling that to you right now. On Friday at 3 p.m., I will buy puts in Costco. Because technical analysis is telling me that Costco is going to go down. It's definitely going to go down tomorrow or next week. Again, I'm looking at a weekly chart here, but if I were to look at a daily chart, it is going to come and end up somewhere over here, around 450-ish, give or take. Now, the fun part is that I could be wrong, right? In fact, as I keep on telling most people in Trading Group 7, I'm wrong 49 times out of 100. But even then, when I'm wrong, I lose as little as possible because when I know that I'm wrong, I just get the hell out and reverse course. So, anybody else have any questions? Somebody had a question. Oh, Antonis had a question. Am I trading only in options? I think I answered that. No, I trade stocks. I trade options. I trade futures. I trade Forex. I trade cryptos, but all my trading is based off of technical analysis. Every single trade that I place, I need to look at a chart. Otherwise, I am not going to place a trade. And in some cases, I may not look at a chart because I already know what the chart looks like SPX. I've been looking at the damn chart of SPX every day since 2006. So that is how I trade. Besides the technical analysis that I do look at some of the option fundamentals as well. VIX I mentioned earlier. Depending on what the VIX is doing, I may actually not place a calendar, but place a credit spread. For example, if you look at something like Starbucks. Oh, the other thing that I also do a lot using options is earnings trade. For example, around the 10th of February, I will be placing certain trades in Starbucks if I haven't already. Do we have a trade in Starbucks? Yeah, we already have a trade in Starbucks. Oh, look, we are already at $381 on a total buying power of 106. And as you can see, this is a double calendar. I have a calendar at 100 strike and a calendar at 110 strike. And Starbucks has literally been between these two numbers now for a pretty long time. That is the other reason why I do calendars. There have been times when I have literally placed a calendar and then driven halfway across the country without a laptop. But if you don't know what you're doing, I suggest that you don't take that route right away. Down the line, maybe. So as Tom and I were talking, he suggested that, folks just might be interested in a course in technical analysis. Should you be interested in teaching that? And I said, sure. And once the technical analysis part is done, then obviously none of you should have any problem figuring out whether you are bullish or bearish. And then it's easy enough to figure out whether you want to place a bullish calendar or a bullish butterfly or a bullish diagonal or a bearish calendar or a bearish butterfly or a bearish diagonal or what have you. And as I said earlier, even if you don't trade options, let's say you prefer to trade stocks only, technical analysis will allow you to just straight off buy and sell stocks at a profit or sell short stocks and buy them back at a profit, along with all the commodities, the futures, and Forex. In fact, as I keep telling most of you who have heard me before, you have heard me talk about the red bar high, right? In fact, somebody just mentioned it right here in the chat itself. So if I'm trading Starbucks on this day, this is a red bar high. The next day, I know it is a red bar high, right? But literally at the end of this day, I would have just bought a put in Starbucks expiring 30 days out, and that would have made me money. I would have done the same thing over here, and that made me money too. Over here, it didn't make me too much money, but it still worked out. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. And here, and here, and here. Even though this is an uptrend, I still would have made money on short trades or buying puts. Now, when you see something like this, you don't have to just buy or sell the stock itself, right? On a day like this, you can have an out of the money put calendar or a bearish butterfly or a call diagonal where you are buying a call over here and selling a call down here. Am I making sense? Ralph? Who all is here today? Oh, Ellen is here. Chris, Dave. Jay, Jeff, Kevin, Kieran, Lindsay, Nate, Ralph. Rich is here too. Warren. Zun Lee. No questions. That's good. Oh, there's a big question. Dennis says he would like to know more. Rahim is saying, if I'm bullish on a position, do I use credit spreads? Which delta do you use? And do you use a 1x stop loss to manage the risk to reward? If you use a put credit spread, maybe you collect $1 for a 5 wide. Max profit is 1, but max loss is 400. How do you manage this risk to reward ratio? The simplest way to manage the risk reward ratio is not to put on credit spreads. Credit spreads have the worst possible risk to reward ratio. And if you are not very disciplined, you will get killed. And during this coronavirus thing, when the market, look right over here. See, on days like this, even if you try to get out, you won't be able to get out. In other words, a lot of people, and when I say a lot, I mean a seriously goodly amount of people who did credit spreads got killed so badly in these 4 weeks that quite a few of them haven't recovered yet. They are literally now, instead of their 10 contract or 20 contract credit spreads, are literally doing a 1 contract spread in SPY as opposed to SPX. So Rahim is saying, do you use debit spreads then, closer to a 50-50 shot? I use debit spreads, yes, but thanks to technical analysis, it is closer to an 80-20 shot. It's not a 50-50 shot. It feels like 50-50 based on what you have heard so far. But if you really know at least a little bit about technical analysis, you can definitely get your probability significantly higher than 50-50. Guaranteed. Antonis Murgilas is asking, sorry if this sounds bad, but do you have a track record to show? Most people here actually are part of my trading group 7 and actually are part of my track record itself. Some folks here, let's say, Jay, you want to put in a good word for me here? Jay does the same things that I do. And he has, in fact, Jay used to do a lot of other trades too, butterflies and broken wing butterflies. I believe he still does them, but he has moved significantly over to the dark side, which is calendars. And there are others too, again, and there are a lot other traders who are, as I said, probably asleep right now because most of them are on the other side of the big pond. But I have been doing this since 2006. In fact, Tom has literally known me since 2006. And as far as he knows, all I do is calendars most of the times. Somebody else said something. Ralph is here. Yes, I've known Ralph now for how long, Ralph? It's been such a long time that it's been Ralph Pugmire has not only has he probably learned a lot from me, but I believe I have learned a whole lot from him as well. Yeah, there you go. Ralph is saying since 2012-ish. That's close to 10 years. So Kevin is asking, what is my usual days to expiration for a calendar trade in SPX? In SPX, usually I will go out 30 days. But it doesn't precisely have to be 30 days. Sometimes it is 28 days. For example, let's say if I were to put on a trade today, now that we have, 27 days, 28 days, 28, 29, and then it goes straight to 36. So guess what? If I were to place a trade today, which I wouldn't, but if I were to, it would be 29 days out. But it doesn't have to be 29 days. You can be short-term trader. I just am a medium-term trader. You can sell something, 4 days out and buy something 18 days out. Should you choose to, you can do it that way too. Because it's still a calendar, right? It's like, whether you are driving a tiny little scooter or you are driving an 18-wheeler truck. The rules of the road still remain the same. You drive on the right side of the road. You stop at a bloody red light. Everything else remains the same. Did that make sense? So how long out is your long from your short? As I just said, it can be anything. Usually I'll go 30 and 60 days, or sometimes 30 and 90 days. Occasionally, when I'm about to take a vacation, or I know that I won't be in front of my PC for as often as I would like, I may go out 40 days for my short, and my long may be 120 days out. It's still a calendar. It doesn't matter. As I just said, whether you are driving a bicycle or whether you are driving an 18-wheeler, you still need to follow the rules of the road. That's it. Did that make sense? Whoever was asking that question, I forget. Kevin. Well, yeah, of course, I carry a lot of Vega. I love Vega. Why wouldn't I? Look at the VIX. If I believe the VIX is about to go crazy to the upside, I want my Vega to be as high as possible. I love Vega. The majority of my trades are Vega positive trades. SV has a question. How can you quantify if the decent run with directional approach was just luck and delta neutral may become profitable this year? I quantify that based on my own track record. Every trade that I have has been recorded, and more often than not, every time I do delta neutral trades, I end up making either losing 2 to 5%, or even if I am profitable, it's like 2 to 3%. When I'm directional, even when I lose 5%, there are times when my directional trade will give me anywhere from 20 to 30% within a 30-day period, or sometimes less. But this quantification, you will have to do for yourself. I mean, if you just look at a chart, you would, again, this is as I said, your own quantification. But had you been bullish from, say, from June of 2020, you would have made money, right? Then had you been bearish from April of 2022, you would be making money. I mean, seriously, is it that difficult to quantify? But let's see. As I said earlier, the folks who are usually around me a lot of time, Warren has been around. Richard, Ralph, Nathan, Lindsay. Oh, Larry's here too. I remember Larry West. Kiran has been around. Jay, I've known Jay now since close to 2011 as well. So Buster is here as well, and Ellen. So these are folks who will tell you that technical analysis does work out. And it is very easy to quantify. I mean, I'm serious. You can literally go and look at, what is it called? A micro MES. Go on a 5-minute chart. In fact, with my students, sometimes I actually trade the futures as well on a 5-minute chart, just to prove to them that everything that worked on a daily and a weekly chart works here as well. And as I just showed you something, see, this is a red bar high. At the end of this bar, if you are short, you literally made from 3920 to a low of 3915. You made 5 points in 5 minutes. Of course, this is micro, so you just made $5. But hey, $5 in 5 minutes ain't bad at all. And as I said, there are folks who follow what I teach with futures, with Forex. On a 5-minute chart, at the end of this bar, I would have called out a short. And Euro USD, you would have made a lot of pips on this day, which is yesterday, by the way. Any other questions? I am, by the way, SV, I never said that delta neutral is not profitable. I'm saying that in delta neutral, I was adjusting too many times and I was always on edge, wondering whether the price has reached my adjustment point or not. I was still profitable, but when I turned directional, my profits went through the roof. In fact, if we look at this account here, 946, account ending in 946, on 1st June, sorry, on 31st December, it was at 141,000, and today it is at 147,000 in 19 days. So that's 6K in 19 days, and look how much we are using. I'm using only 37K. So 6K on 37K ain't bad at all in 19 days. And of course, that's one. The other one, the 945 account, on December 31st was at 376, and now it's only at 377. Because we did I made a few mistakes here. This is an account that I only trade on Tuesdays, by the way. I don't trade every single day. I'm busy doing other things every single day. So, does anybody else have any questions? No questions? Cool.
I guess, do you want to talk about the class?
Yes. So Tom decided that we should offer you guys a class depending on what it is that you want. And since I am a professional technician with a certificate to prove it, and a calendar trade, obviously the choices are very, very limited. Either you decide to learn technical analysis from me, or you decide to learn how to trade calendars from me, or you decide to learn both from me. Technical analysis would be much more preferable if you ask me, because then no matter what you are doing, whether you are a butterfly trader, whether you are a calendar trader, a diagonal trader, a straight buy and sell stocks or calls and puts, you can do any or all of them if you know which way the market is going. In fact, I can tell you something right now. Even though we are looking at Euro USD, which is a 5-minute chart, the bar after this bar is going to be a red bar. It can be a very small red bar, or it may be a very big red bar. I don't know. But the bar after this bar is going to be a red bar. And if I were to go short at the end of this 5-minute chart, I'm going to make money. And if you guys hang around here for another 4 minutes, I will place a trade. I will go short in Euro USD. But see, this is what technical analysis will allow you to do. You can, over time, literally become confident enough that, 80% of the time you are right in your trades or direction. With your trades, you will still have to adjust. You will still have, like, for example, if I were to place a trade, let's say a calendar somewhere over here, and this goes down so fast and ends up all the way over here, by the end of the day, obviously, I will be adjusting that calendar, right? Again, on the other hand, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart here. So an adjustment is more or less guaranteed. But if I was looking at a daily chart, I still would be going short, or at least have a bearish calendar on. And as I said, it doesn't matter what you are doing. You could be looking at the sweet light crude oil. You can be looking at gold. You can be looking at soybeans or whatever else that is out there. Where people talk about Nathan has a question. I know you use the red bar high bearish signal. Do you use any bullish signal patterns? Oh, of course. Yeah. A lot of them. Because remember, every indicator is actually made out of price action. Every single indicator. So if there's a moving average here, then obviously the moving average will depend on the closing price of whatever it is that I'm looking at. Let's say I'm looking at Amazon. Then the moving average will depend on the closing price. And if for 5 days the closing price was higher than the previous day, obviously my moving average has already turned up. But that depends on which moving average I'm using. If I'm using a 200 period moving average, maybe nothing has happened. It's still flat. If I'm using a 20 period moving average, yes, it has definitely turned up. And I'm looking forward to a signal to go long in Amazon. So just like the red bar high, there are red bar highs is what is known as a single bar pattern, right? But there are patterns that are formed out of multiple bars. So we go over that as well. And it's really very easy. Once you figure it out, it's like, holy shit, how come I didn't see this before? Because it's literally like, it's like one of those, one of those video games where once you know what to look for, it's like, there's no way you can lose most of the times. Let me see if are there any other questions. So yeah, Nathan asked for any bullish signals. Yes. So there are green bar lows, multiple multiple like 2-bar pin bars, 3-bar pin bars, 4-bar pin bars, weekly pin bars. For example, if you look at a weekly chart here, you will see it. See right here. You know on this Friday that you might as well as buy a call in Amazon. And you know beforehand that it is going to stop somewhere over here. No problems, Dennis. I believe this is being recorded, so you can check this out later.
Yes, it
Shankar
is.
is saying, what is the price for the technical analysis course? So that I will leave to Tom.
I think we set it for 365, and he said it was going to be 6 weeks.
365, 6 weeks. We meet once a week. Sometimes even twice a week if some weird shit is happening out there and I want to show you something that you really, really need to know. And for those of you who are not aware, once you are my student, you are my student. You can then, a year later, if you call me up and say, I forgot, I will gladly spend 5 minutes to you and remind you. For the class, yes, every class will be recorded, and usually the classes will take place after market hours while I'm teaching, and then a couple of times we will actually meet during the middle of the day to show you how the same strategy that works on a weekly chart also works on a 5-minute chart, and we will actually trade the E-mini S&P or the NASDAQ or gold or oil on a 5-minute chart in real time, should you be interested. Some people are like, I'm not into 5-minute charts. If that's the case, you don't have to be there. But as I said, it works on every single time frame. Oh yeah, that's because my Gmail account has been compromised. I'm literally getting like 2,000-3,000 emails a day.
Oh my gosh.
So somehow it seems to have gone to, some out there. So I'm going to change. In fact, I did do that. My personal email that I now use, which is still Gmail, but it's different. Because that first email, as I said, it's like by the time I see your email, there are 1,000 emails behind it. It has already gone to page number 3. So
is that a new email or is the old one?
no, this is the new one.
Oh, the new one. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me update you in our database so I have the new
yes,
one.
please. Yes.
Otherwise, you'll never see meeting notifications or anything.
Oh, Warren is saying I cannot see the new one on the. Oh, hold on. I'm sending it to hosts and panelists.
Oh yeah, he sent it to me and you. There, that's to everyone.
Okay, now. Oh, I can't send it to everyone anyway. Okay.
You should be able to.
No, actually, all it is saying is hosts and panelists and you. That's it. And these are the only 2 people I can send to. So.
Really? Huh. Here,
Okay,
I'll make you a co-host. Now you can send it.
No, that's fine. I mean, since you put it out there, everybody sees it. It says it went to everyone now. Okay, that's good. So, yes, Tom, take it away now. You still have 10 more minutes.
Oh, well, we don't have to fill up a whole hour. If we're done, we're done.
Okay.
Is there any one little technical analysis thing you want to leave? Some technique you can whet people's appetite with?
Well, I just, GMS is asking, when does the classes start?
I think you said the 26th, so that'd be a week from today.
Yeah, a week from today, correct.
And you'd mentioned a 6-week class.
Correct. The second one, Nathan. The one after the or. GEMS is asking, does it matter if you can't be present for the live class? Sure, yes, it will be recorded anyway, and you will have access to it for probably forever, right, Tom?
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Guy's in Europe, so that's why he's asking, because it gets kind of late there.
Oh, okay. Oh, Larry is saying Euro USD just printed another 5-minute red bar. Oh, you are very welcome, Jay. I'm sure you will join in when the classes begin. So, if there are no other questions, I know we still have 9 more minutes. If there are any questions, feel free to ask away.
Do you have a rough outline in your head of what you're going to have the classes be on?
Well, there will be at least 2 or 3 separate full-blown technical analysis strategies with exact times and places when to go long or when to go short. And then, depending on whether you are long or short, you can then choose whether you want to have a bullish calendar or a bullish butterfly. But if you are not sure, then we will actually go ahead. I will actually go ahead and tell you all the different things that you can do. So Larry is asking, are you offering a calendar class as well? Yes. So the technical analysis class is first. And the calendar class, how do you want to do this, Tom? Do we want to do it after the technical analysis class is over?
I think that's the way you had
simultaneously?
mentioned it, because you said even with your calendars, you use technical analysis, so you wanted everybody to have a good foundation.
That's true, yeah. So yeah, there are a couple of other classes. So initially it'll be technical analysis, and right after that will be the calendar class. So Shankar is asking, what are the stocks you pick for technical analysis? Yes, I will be using SPY, some of the big ones that you see on the left. Amazon, Adobe, Apple, Google, Spiders, IWM, Qs, Tesla. Warren is saying, been playing around with Heikin-Ashi bars to dumb down. Actually, Heikin-Ashi bars are pretty good. It is a good idea to dumb down on these noise fluctuations. That is the reason that I normally look at weekly charts, because I'm sort of dumbing down the daily and the 5-minute chart gyrations. So yes, I actually trade occasionally or using Heikin-Ashi bars when I'm trading the 5-minute E-mini S&P or the Forex. And occasionally I use Heikin-Ashi bars on a weekly chart as well. It's a whole lot more fun on weekly charts. Shankar has a question. What is the trading platform? I use Thinkorswim. For everything. But since most of what I do is stocks and options, mostly options, essentially, Thinkorswim does it all for me. But if I do decide to trade, say, a 5-minute E-mini S&P or Forex, I would probably go with interactive brokers. GMS says, do I use any weird indicators that are only available on TOS? No, I do not. In fact, almost 8 times out of 10, I do not even use indicators. Shankar is saying, I use E-Trade. Are there any advantages using Thinkorswim? I have never used E-Trade, so I cannot talk to that. But as far as I know, as far as the platform itself goes, nobody gives you the ability to place a four-legged option trade with 2 clicks. Thinkorswim rules in that way. But I think quite a few of my students do use E-Trade because they had been with, there was another one, what was it called? Daytech. A long time ago, there was one called Daytech, which E-Trade sort of bought them over. Or was it? Yeah, something or the other. But ever since Thinkorswim came out in 2005, I have been with Thinkorswim. And when I do decide to use day trade, I used to use interactive brokers because they have seriously good fills. Even with options, interactive brokers, I get better fills with interactive brokers than with TOS. If there are any hardcore IT guys, you might actually want to build something like TOS for interactive brokers, and you will literally become a millionaire in less than a year. So we got 3 more minutes left. If there are no other questions, we might as well as call it a day. But if there are questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or you have my email as well, so you can always send me an email or send Tom an email if you have his email. Or if there are a lot of emails that Tom gets about with questions, then we can literally have a half an hour meet like this, and I can just answer all these questions should you have any. Nathan is saying Thinkorswim is the best options analysis. That is very true, yes. Though as time goes by, you will realize that you don't even need the analysis tab. If you keep on doing the same damn thing every day, you just know what your analysis tab looks like, literally. I didn't even know of any weird indicators that are available only on TOS. I will have to have a look at those one of these days. Oh, now I know, dear, like these cycle studies, MESA, sine wave, detrended price oscillator. Remember, these are all built on price. So if you understand price, which is what I'll teach you, you don't need any indicators at all. Literally, you can trade naked with naked charts. And it is a whole lot freeing trading with naked charts. Trust me. Yes, TOS definitely has very good options analysis capabilities. But here also, as I'm saying, if you keep on doing the same kind of option trade over and over and over again, you don't even need that analysis tab. So it is exactly 2 o'clock. And I shall now hit the sack.
All right.
Even though it's only 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Well, if you're dealing with people outside the US, I can understand that.
That's very true. Likewise, Ralph, long time.
All right. So again, here's the URL if you are interested in the class. Starts next Thursday. And yeah, do we have the time? Will it be after the market closes,
after 4 p.m. So if you want it at 4, we can have it at 4. If you want it at 5, I'm okay with that. 6, I'm okay with that. 7, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Sounds
No
great.
problem. So we will just take the best, the majority rules kind of thing.
Right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks very much. And thanks, Himanshu. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next time.
All right. Excellent. See you guys. And thank you all for showing up.
All right.
GMS
See ya.
already signed up. Excellent.
Oh,
Thanks.
that's Guy. Yep.
Guy. Okay.
All right.
All
We'll see you
right,
guys.
All
Yep.
right. Later.
Bye.